Hey guys, so in this video I want to show you my current sketchbook, and this is not going to be a regular sketchbook tour because this sketchbook is actually the sketchbook I'm using to work on my feature film The Great Sun. So I'm going to kind of give you more of like an insight into my process of working on my film and how I use the sketchbook to storyboard my film, right? So it's a regular sketchbook. It's a normal hardcover sketchbook. I think it's like 8 by 11. And as you can see, the first thing you'll notice in the sketchbook is my first ideas of creating Act 3 of my film. So what I would actually do here is I would just write bullet points of story beats that I think need to happen in the film. And as I'm writing the film in my head and just putting down beats of what should happen, I also sometimes just decide, I'm just gonna draw some images that are actually in my head instead of writing, so I could visualize and write, because I'm a very visual person when it comes to storyboarding and storytelling. And if you look here, you'll see that I'm also trying to work out like the mechanics of an event that is happening and how that would look in its most really basic form. So I would just draw like a very quick layout or story image of something that's happening here as well. So mechanics wise, I would probably stop writing and not describe it, but draw it out visually. Alright, so these are certain events that are happening in the Act 3 of the film, and sometimes I just go back to drawing, right? So I did this entire process for the Act 3 of the film, and this is not something I did for the previous 2 acts of the film, because I don't know, maybe I was just stupid, but this was such a better way of kind of keeping track of all the ideas I have for the film and writing the story for the film and the story breakdown. So this is pretty much the same here for this part of the sketchbook. Now this here is where we get into me just exploring some stand-in designs for the characters in certain parts of the film, right? And these are very out of context characters. You probably have no idea who these characters are until you see the film, right? But it's just me kind of like exploring. These are not final designs in the least. This is a younger version of one of the main characters here, and this is where we get into the actual thumbnailing process. Now I wish I had decided to board this film in a sketchbook from the very beginning. I was actually doing it on loose paper, and some of my thumbnail ideas have just been scattered into storage somewhere. So I wish I actually had it. Right, so what you'll notice is with somebody who is a story artist, like, we mainly only care about story, right? So none of these drawings here are meant to be pretty, are meant to be like, oh my god, this is amazing, I could sell this sketchbook. Like, when I'm boarding this, all I care about is the story and the characters and getting the shot. And that's one of the downsides of being a story artist is that your artwork isn't going to be pretty, and you're probably not going to be popular based on how pretty your artwork looks. But we get to dive into the core of what make characters work, of what make a scene works, and all of these things, which I really truly love. Hopefully it doesn't go away in the near future, but as you can see, I'm just boarding here. And what I like, or what I've discovered about myself as a storyboard artist and as a filmmaker, is that especially when boarding on a entire film on my own, I just draw these rectangles for like pages on pages on pages, and then I just thumbnail, just keep thumbnailing, just keep following the story. It's kind of like how Miyazaki boards. Mine is much more rough and ugly, but it gets the job done. So I believe this is actually portions that are still in Act 2. I didn't do the entire Act 2 in the sketchbook. So this is one of the scenes. This scene, I'm actually not even sure it's gonna be in the movie anymore, because the more that you board and the more that you see the entire film as a whole, then you realize kind of like what should be there and what shouldn't be there. And even though I love this sequence, it's such a good sequence. I enjoy it. It looks amazing. I actually have finished boarded this and toned this up. So I will have to see if it will still survive. But again, I'm serving the story. I don't care if it's in there or not, because at the end of the day, it's all about telling a really good story and not boring the audience. And I don't want any scenes in the film that are unnecessary and would destroy the pacing and make the film a bit unenjoyable to watch, right? So as you can see, like in the beginning, when I was drawing these boxes, I would just draw them like really square. But as I go along, you'll see I start to draw them very more oval shape with round edges. I have no idea why, but it just kind of like evolved that way. I don't actually use any special type of pen as well. It's once I have something to write with. Now I don't use pencil because pencil fades away, and that would suck. To just have the work just fade away with time. So I love or prefer to work with any kind of ballpoint pen or ink pen there, right? Now I haven't gotten to Act 3 yet, right? All of this is still Act 2. I can't remember how long it took me to thumbnail out all of Act 2 here. But I did keep track of Act 3, which starts here, as you can see. Act 3, I'm using a random purple pen here. Now, with Act 3, before I started Act 3, I took a break when I finished Act 2. And when I came back, I think that it was in the beginning of August, I started just thumbnailing Act 3. And I think the rest of the book that you will see here is basically just Act 3. So all of this is Act 3. And it took me, I believe, from August 1st to about like September 1st to board out the entire of Act 3. And maybe even actually do some either exploration for changes that I want to make in Act 2, but the majority is Act 3. It took me an entire month, and I am currently maybe like 95% completed of boarding Act 3. It's almost done. So maybe that's why I'm doing the sketchbook though, because it's almost actually done. So yeah, this is where you can see I started switching from very square to more rounded shapes. I have no idea why. Maybe I just saw a board artist do that and I decided to copy them. Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly how much drawings Act 3 thumbnails are, but it took a month. And what I've noted is that I'm probably going to finish this in maybe the second week in November, like actual boarding. So the thumbnail took a month and the actual board seemed to be going to take about 2.5 months to actually finish. That's not including any changes I want to go back and make to the film. So this sketchbook is really just documenting the entire story in just one book that I could just flip through. And it's really good to actually look at it like this, because when I'm reviewing the story, I could actually really see it on the screen and visualize it on the screen as I'm just like going through the pages and the squares, and I could really pick up on the pacing of the film. I know, like, my instincts for pacing has really improved over time, and I could tell when something just moves too fast or whether it's moving too slow, and there needs to be like more beats in between scenes or within beats. So all of this here, I don't know, if you're patient enough and you pause the book, you'll actually be able to see the entire movie. But it doesn't really matter. I don't think people care enough to actually do that. So I'm showing everything anyways. Right? So it's kind of like incredible to see everything here, and to, you know, think back, like, when I was at this point, I was wondering where I would be today. I actually thought I would have finished boarding before November actually hit, but you know, scheduling always changes life, you know, laziness, all of these things just, you know, come into play, you know, when you're working on a project, you know, and you're actually boarding an entire film on your own, which has only been done maybe a few times, maybe 10 times by individuals in the industry, excluding Miyazaki. Yeah. All right, so that is the entire film, right? And there's just some extra stuff in the back there, but this is pretty much the sketchbook that I am currently using. And I think maybe for like the blank pages, this I'm gonna actually go back and use this for like making changes or even doing some character designs for the characters in the film and stuff. For those of you who may be wondering, it's like, wait, are you gonna actually take this beyond the storyboarding stage? What are you gonna do? I have ideas of what I'm gonna do, and they involve different paths, you know, whether it's raising money to just do a fully animated trailer with the quality that I want the film to be in, so I could use that to maybe pitch to studios and stuff like that. But you know, or maybe do 15 minutes of the film and a lower quality of animation, or you know, maybe just do an entire graphic novel and I'm doing the actual opposite of, you know, certain processes where the graphic novel would come first and then you do the movie. I'm doing the movie first and then I might do the graphic novel. So I know this might be not pretty to look at. It's not like a conventional sketchbook tour, but you could actually see how I'm actually using my sketchbook to work on an entire film. I'm not even sure at this point if it's gonna be under 2 hours. I think it might be over 2 hours, but we will see. So for those of you who have been following this journey, this is more of like an update on the film and where it is at. I might make a celebratory announcement when I'm actually finished the boards and, you know, moving on into editorial, and you know, we'll see what we have from there. So if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Make sure and hit the like button and subscribe for more updates on this film and for more feature storyboarding content. Thanks for watching, guys.